When you're road tripping, or at least when I'm road tripping, finding a nice, safe, cozy place to sleep at night with an incredible view is oftentimes very difficult to do. It takes a lot of planning and a lot of foresight, or a lot of luck. I learned about Chiriaco Summit when I was watching California Gold with Huell Hauser, and one of my favorite shows, by the way. And he came to this rest stop and did a whole program on the family who owns it and the history behind it, and what it has to offer people who are traveling on this really dry desert stretch of highway between Los Angeles and Phoenix. And I knew I was coming out here for my trip to Quartzsite, so I thought I would stop to see if it was really as good as he suggested it would be. And as far as I'm concerned, it absolutely is. There are probably about, I would guess, maybe 10 to 15 dry camping spots. I stopped here on the way to Quartzsite, and now I'm stopped on the way home from Quartzsite, and I didn't have a problem getting a spot in either direction. The views of the mountains and the desert are incredible, and even though we are very close to the highway, it's really, really quiet, and I think it's probably because we're up on a hill, somewhat above the highway. It's really beautiful, and it's a really nice place to stay, and it's free. A weary traveler can find almost anything they need at this family-owned and operated oasis off of Interstate 10. The history of Chiriaco Summit spans 90 years. This historical landmark was erected in 1933 by Joe Chiriaco and his wife Ruth. Together, and with their 4 children, they lived in the middle of nowhere, quickly becoming a safe haven for people traveling on the newly opened U.S. Highway 60. In the beginning, they lived using gas lights, generators, a very limited supply of water, and no air conditioning. It wouldn't be until the year 2000 before commercial power arrived at Chiriaco Summit and the generators were powered down for the last time. In the spring of 1942, General George S. Patton established In the Desert Training Center with its headquarters at Camp Young, adjacent to Chiriaco Summit. The museum is closed today, so I can't go in, but I was able to see a lot from the outside. It seems really interesting, and it also seems to be it seems to be more than just World War II. There's a Vietnam remembrance wall, and there's a Korean War remembrance wall. Today, thanks to Margaret Chiriaco and Leslie Cohn, there is a museum which honors the great American hero, General Patton, and the Desert Training Center. When you stop at Chiriaco Summit, make sure you have time for fresh homemade pie served at the Chiriaco Summit restaurant, or cool off with a Foster Freeze chocolate-dipped cone. An information center can help you plan your desert vacation, including maps to the nearby Joshua Tree National Park. There's even a mechanic shop and an airport. With a branch of the U.S. Postal Service opening in 1958 and the Chevron Station and Food Mart opening in 2004, you really can find anything you need while driving between LA and Phoenix, Arizona, when you stop at the Chiriaco Summit. A lot of people ask me how I choose my campsites, and I can honestly say that I mostly sleep at rest stops or truck stops or BLM land. And this is kind of a little bit of all 3 of them wrapped up into a really beautiful little convenient package. If you are ever on Highway 10 going between LA and Phoenix, Arizona, I would highly suggest that you stop here, if for nothing else, lunch. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. I hope it was informative, and I hope it helps you travel well. Thanks, friends.